I knew that a great number of the questions were going to be for me, but I'm happy to be able to engage you on these issues. Everywhere I have been since I was appointed some 5 months ago, Ghanaians living abroad basically have not been satisfied with the services that they are giving in our missions abroad. And this is a source of worry for me as a minister. It is important that during my term or my time at the ministry, I work towards ensuring that the confidence that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora have in our missions is strong. In some cases, and I'm talking about some ministries within our some foreign ministries within our sub-region, even the name of the ministry reflects the engagement with their citizens abroad. So you would have some ministries, the Burkina Faso and so on and so forth. The ministries, the name of the ministry is Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Burkinabes living abroad. So immediately you can tell that the ministry's mandate includes engaging their citizens. Our mandate as a ministry is, apart from all we do, is also to engage our citizens, protect our citizens living abroad. And I can assure you that this is one of the areas that I am going to concentrate on. The first person who asked a question was about the attitude of embassy staff, the difficulties faced by Ghanaian embassies. I keep saying it, that each time you step foot in a mission, an embassy, wherever you are, a Ghanaian embassy, whether it is to apply for a visa, to apply for a passport, or to seek assistance in any form, it is imperative that the foreign service officers who work there give you 100% very good customer service. If you are paying for a visa, if you are paying for a passport, I keep saying that in the fees that you are charged, embedded in those fees are customer services as well. It's not just the booklet that you are given, but from the moment that you step into the grounds of the mission, the embassy, you are to be accorded respect and to be given good customer service. So what we have decided to do, and it's still, I'm new, it's still at the consideration stage, is to ensure that all our officers are trained or retrained in customer service. Because otherwise, we will continue to have these complaints, and these are very legitimate concerns and complaints. It's not like you live here. Even here in Ghana, we are demanding good service. How much more those of you who have lived outside and you know the value of customer service? We cannot accept it, and we will not accept that kind of treatment of our compatriots outside. So training is what we are going to do. And I'm hopeful that very soon you should be seeing some improvement in the way that our staff interact with you. In an embassy, you don't just have the foreign service staff, but you have staff from other ministries and agencies. And we're going to work together, interministerial committee, to ensure that each staff, regardless of which agency you're coming from, once you are posted to an embassy outside, you are required to exhibit a certain standard of customer service. The next one is to do with the lady who applied for dual citizenship. Her file got lost. There were several delays. And what makes it even worse is the fact that she didn't get any feedback. That is a problem. And we've had several issues like that. I've had several complaints where you ring our missions outside, and I'm admitting it, I'm not going to hide it, because these are the complaints that I come across, that you call, and you can call for 15 minutes and nobody even bothers to pick up the phone. And you are not calling to chat with anybody. You are just calling to find out the status of an application. Why should it be difficult for people who have been employed as receptionists to answer calls and talk to people, and yet they are not doing what they're supposed to do? I can assure you that this will also come to an end very soon, because we are working on a system to put in place in our missions so that when you call, it doesn't take too long for them to pick up. I'm told it's a software. And at least when you leave a message, somebody will take the trouble to call you back and to answer the concerns that you have. That's the least that we can do. So, Madam, with regard to the dual citizenship, what happens at the missions is that we are collecting points. So we collect the applications, and the applications are sent to Accra to the Ministry of Interior, where it is processed and approved or declined, and then it goes back to the mission. But like I'm saying, at least at every point in time, when it is required for us to give the status of an application, we should be in a position to do that. Oh, okay, so it didn't happen here. It's at the Ministry of Interior. We are not in charge at all of we will do that. Thank you, we will. Is there an active list of diasporans, and if not, how do we get it? I think this is very important, the step we have taken. The Diaspora Bureau used to be a full department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because His Excellency the President wanted attention to issues to do with the diaspora, he has moved it to the Office of the President. So what we have done is to scale down from a department to a unit. We were in the process, and we are almost at the tail end of preparing a policy. Once that policy is finished, we'll hand it over to Mr. Abebio, who is at the Office of the President in charge of diaspora issues. And then we'll be working together with him. The policy is looking at ensuring that we have a formal list, an official list. At the moment, what we have is ad hoc lists from our missions of who is who in every mission. But this is why attention is being given to this particular area of importance. We realize how important you are to our development, and this is what we're going to do. So Mr. Abebio might want to explain or expand on what I've just said, and how he intends to do it. But I know that my unit is going to work with him once the policy is in place to have an official list in every country of Ghanaians who are willing to come back and help us in the development. When it comes to Ghanaians generally, the problem we have is that we do not have an official list of who is who in a particular. Take the UK, for instance. Most people in the UK, and I believe there are more people who are there who are undocumented than those who are documented. And most of them do not want to be known officially because they have suspicions that maybe if there is a list of where they are in terms of their address and who they are, it could be to their disadvantage at some point. This is not so. This doesn't happen. No embassy of Ghana anywhere will voluntarily or even forcefully give out a list of Ghanaians, whether they are documented or undocumented, to any immigration service. So these fears are unfounded, and I hope that more and more people will let us know where they are, so that officially we know how many Ghanaians are outside the country. We have a ballpoint figure of about 2 million, but I believe that there are more. There are more than 2 million Ghanaians living outside. I take Cote d'Ivoire, for instance. There are over 500,000 Ghanaians alone in Cote d'Ivoire. In Nigeria and Togo, the same thing. So I think we have more people than the figures that we are putting out. But it also depends on how best you work with us to let us know that you are in a particular country. Does Ghana have the capacity to support a female president? This is for the gender minister, so I'll leave it with her. The Deportees Advisory Board, I think it's not a bad idea at all. It's something that we should look at. And it will be an interministerial sort of advisory board, because when deportees, people are deported, Ghanaians are deported and they come back, it is not just the foreign ministry. It is the Ministry of Interior, National Security, even the Health Ministry, and so on and so forth. So something like that would not be a bad idea at all. Ghanaians living abroad and the relationship with the missions. Most don't know what the missions do. It is the responsibility of the missions. And I believe they do quite well in that respect to engage Ghanaians. They have to go and engage Ghanaians wherever they are. And these days, you guys have made it so easy for the missions because you have grouped yourself into associations. So engaging Ghanaians living in the diaspora should be very easy. It is part of consular services. Apart from the normal work of the embassy, the consular officers are supposed to visit you. Where they should visit you in times of joy and in times of sadness. So even when you have a problem, you're dying, even when you're sick, when you've been incarcerated, and so on and so forth, we must know and we must accord you regular visits. Even when there's a joyous occasion and you invite them, they're supposed to be there with you. And then now we have all these Ghanaian churches outside, and therefore it is easier for them to come and engage you. It is part of the job that they are supposed to do, and we'll ensure that they do so. Visa lottery, government should have an input. I'm not too sure how government can have an input in the policy of another country. That would be intrusion. But what I know is that we're getting to a point where, because of all these abuses of Ghanaians who are lured to go to all these countries, especially the Gulf states, we're getting to a point where Mr. President has asked that we sit down and formally look at formal engagements with some countries where we formalize the arrangement. So if it is girls who want to go and see greener pastures, let's say in Kuwait or Dubai or Saudi or whatever, we need to sit down with the country and say that, yes, maybe we will provide you with the manpower, but then, number one, you treat them well, you go through due process, ensure that everything is well done so that they are not abused. And at every given time, we will know where A is or B is in any country so that we can monitor them until their contract comes to an end. So that is some of the things we can do. But to directly influence American policy, that will be difficult. Even more difficult now, now that Trump is in power. Online services, registering with a mission online, I think is a good idea, especially for countries where we do not have missions. Even where we have missions, when you live abroad, time is money. So it's not a good idea to always go to the missions in person. If you can do it online, it will be a great idea. So it's a suggestion that I'll take on board. Renunciation of citizenship, why you have to take visas. For now, that is the way it is. You have to take a visa. But I don't think you'll complain if we make the process of acquiring a visa simple and easy for you to acquire a visa. It's because it is fraught with all kinds of problems. That is why most of you complain. But then once you renounce your citizenship and you hold a passport of your host country, it becomes difficult. You are no longer a Ghanaian unless you have dual citizenship. In that case, then yes. But otherwise, then it's difficult for us to do anything about it at this point in time. Same to do with Holland, the problem, renunciation fees to Dutch government. I believe those are fees charged by the Dutch government, and it's charged all over the world for people who want to renounce their citizenship and take up Dutch citizenship. So that's for the Dutch government to decide. 5 years cost of passport. I think you're right. At least we will not be inundated with applications and with problems if the duration of passport is 10 years, like it used to be, and not 5 years. It's creating problems for us, and we are beginning to realize it. The passport director is here, Mr. Enos, and he's assured me he's come up with some proposals that we're going to look at for extending the time, going back to 5 years. But of course, children who are up to 16, it's normally 5 years because they change, their features change quite, what's the word? Their features change as they're growing. But then once you're after 16, you should be able to hold a passport for 10 years. So we are looking at that. We are looking at increasing the number of pages for a passport because there are people who are frequent travelers, and therefore their passport booklets get filled up very quickly, and that's a problem. They have to go through the hassle and so on and so forth. So these are some of the questions that you have asked. But let me assure you that I'm not going to slack on my responsibility as foreign minister for you to go through a lot of hell, the hell that you go through in engaging with our embassies outside. And I'm hopeful, and I know that very soon there will be changes for the better that you so require. Thank you very much.